Hi girls, in this video I'm going to tell the concept of multi-threading, that means the thread concept in Java. A thread is an independent path of execution within a program. Many threads can run concurrently within a program. Within a program you can able to run concurrent programs. Every thread in Java is created and controlled by java.lang.thread class. So you have to import this header file while using the thread. In your program, you have to include the header file java.lang.thread class. A Java program have many threads and these threads can run concurrently, either asynchronously or synchronously. So in shortly, we can say that a thread is a single sequential flow of control within a program. It differs from a process in that a process is a program executing in its own address space, whereas a thread is a single stream of execution within a process. Multi-threading is a powerful programming tool that makes it possible to achieve concurrent execution of multiple units of a program. Each portion of a program designed that designated a thread may execute concurrently with others. Multi-threading basically enables a program to do more than one task at a time and also to synchronize these tasks. Java builds thread support directly into the language. Multi-threading support for Java includes thread creation, thread prioritization, thread scheduling, resource locking, and establishing inter-thread communication. So thread is a lightweight sub-process. It is a separate path of execution. Threads are independent. If there occurs exception in one thread, it does not affect other threads. If there is an error in one thread, it does not affect the other thread. It shares a common memory area. Thread is executed inside the process. There is context switching between the threads. There can be multiple processes inside the OS and one process can have multiple threads. You can see this is the process 1, process 2 and process 3. Within this process there is a thread. 3 threads are declared here. Each thread are independent. If there is an error or exception in one thread, it does not affect the another thread. So what is a multitasking and multi-threading? Multitasking refers to computer's ability to perform multiple jobs concurrently. More than one program are running concurrently, for example, Unix OS. Multi-threading is a thread is a single sequence of execution within a program. Refers to multiple threads of control within a single program. Each program can run multiple threads of control within it. For example, a web browser. If you open a browser, you can see many type of web pages. If you open that page, it will display that content. If you minimize that web page, it will minimize and another web page will be opened. Like that. That is the example of the multi-threading. Example is a web browser. Then what is the difference between the concurrency and parallelism? Parallelism means within the same time parallel it will execute. But concurrency means it will execute according to the time slot, like that. What are threads good for? To maintain responsiveness of an application during a long run task, to enable cancellation of separable tasks. Some problems are intrinsically parallel. To monitor status of some resources, for example database. Some APIs and systems demand it, for example Swing. The advantages of multi-threading are given here. It does not block the user because threads are independent and you can perform multiple operations at the same time. You can perform many operations together, so it saves time. Threads are independent, so it does not affect other threads if exception occur in a single thread. This is the life cycle of the thread. The life cycle of the thread in Java is controlled by the JVM, the Java Virtual Machine. The Java thread states are as follows. The states of the threads are new, runnable, running, non-runnable, that is in block, and then terminated. So this is the new, that means the new thread is created. It is just in the runnable state, not in the running. When the method start is called, and then after the start method is called, the run method will start the execution, at the time only the thread should be in the running state. After the running state, it go to the dead state or it will go to either a waiting state. In the waiting state, it go back to again a running state and then it go to the dead state. So thread states are given here. First the new thread, that is the newly created thread, and then the runnable thread and running thread. It go back to the waiting by using these methods. A thread will be in the running mode. Once it calls the suspend, once it called sleep or wait, it go to the runnable state. After this runnable state, if you call the run method, it will go to the running state again. And then final is the terminated, means the thread is entirely finished, that is the call the dead state. So what is a new thread? The life cycle of the thread. The new thread means a new thread begins its life cycle in the new state. It remains in the state until the program starts the thread. You people just listen this carefully. A new thread begins its life cycle in new state. It remains in the state, that means in the new state, until the program starts the thread. While using the start method only, you can start the thread. So otherwise, before the start method call, the thread is in the new state only, newborn state only. It is also referred to as a born thread, that means newborn thread. And then runnable. After a newly born thread is started, the thread becomes runnable. It's not running, it's runnable. A thread in this state is considered to be executing its task. And then waiting. Waiting, sometimes a thread transition to the waiting state while the thread waits for another thread to perform a task. Until that, the previous thread have to be in the waiting state, and then combine the both thread using the join method and give the results like that. Sometimes a thread transitions to wait in the waiting state while the thread waits for another thread to perform a task. A thread transitions back to the runnable state only when another thread signals the waiting thread to continue executing. And then timed waiting. A runnable thread can enter the timed waiting state for a specified interval of time. A thread in this state transitions back to the runnable state when the time interval expires or when the event is in the waiting for occurs. And then dead state. A runnable thread enters the terminated state when it completes its task, otherwise terminates. And then daemon thread. Daemon thread is a low priority thread that runs in the background to perform such as garbage collection task. JVM terminates itself in all threads, including the non-daemon threads finish their execution. JVM does not care whether daemon thread is running or not. And then thread priorities. The thread priorities, before that I am going to tell you one more thing here. The blocked state is missing here. A thread can enter the blocked state when one of the following 5 conditions occurs. In this picture you can see there is a blocking, sleeping or waiting. When the sleep method is called, or when the suspend method is called, or wait method is called, a thread can enter the blocked state when one of the following conditions will happen. When the thread will be in the blocked state? Whether the sleep method is called, suspend method is called, or wait method is called. Okay. And then what is the use of sleep method is, a thread being executed can invoke sleep method to block the thread for some time and free the CPU. This thread goes into the sleep, that means the blocked state, for a specified amount of time, after which it moves to the runnable state. And then suspend and resume. The thread class has method suspend to stop the thread temporarily, and the method resume to restore the method at the point at which it is halted. Okay. Here you can see the resume and the suspend methods also. The use of the suspend and resume method is, the thread class has a method suspend to stop the thread temporarily, and the method resume is used to restore the method where it is halted. The resume method must be called by some thread other than the suspended one, because the thread is almost in the suspended mode. So the resume method will be called by the some other method in the thread. And then what is the use of the sleep method? That means this sleep method is, the thread being executed can invoke sleep to block the thread for some time and free the CPU. That means it go to the block state. And the dead state means a thread goes into dead state in two ways. If it is run method exists, if the run method exists, the thread go to the dead state. Otherwise, a stop method is called, the thread go to the dead state. In either ways, it go to the dead state and stop method. And then the running state. After the runnable state, if the thread gets CPU access. Here, when the thread will be in the running mode is after the runnable state. If the thread gets CPU access, it moves into the running state. The thread will be in the running state unless it dies, unless it gets blocked, unless it calls sleep method, unless it calls wait method, unless it calls yield method, like that. So these are all until that the thread will be in the running state. The newborn state is when a thread is called, it is in the newborn state, that is when it has been created and it not yet running. That is called the newborn state. When a thread is called, it is in the newborn state, and that is when it has been created and is not yet running. In other words, a start method has not been invoked on this thread. In this state, the system resources are not allocated to the thread. And then thread priorities. When a Java thread is created, it inherits its priority from the thread that created it. You can modify the thread priorities at any time after its execution using the set priority method. Thread priorities are integers ranging between 1, 5 and 10. Minimum priority is 1, normal priority is 5 and maximum priority is 10. And creating threads. Threads can be created using two ways. One is by extending the class thread. The second one is by implementing the runnable interface. In both cases, the run method should be implemented. And then how creating a new thread using extending a thread class. The first method of the creating a thread is simply by extending the thread class. The thread class is defined in the package java.lang. The class that inherits overrides the run method of the parent thread for its implementation. So commonly used constructor of thread class are thread, thread string name, thread runnable and string name. This is the concept of extending thread. The first method is extending create your own thread by extending thread class. Example for that program is here given here. The syntax is class thread name extends the class thread. Within that you have used this run method. If you want to write the program for the thread, you have to give within this run method only. For example, if you take main method in the application program, you have to write all the codings within the main method. Like that in applet, you people already knew that if you want to use the applet program, you must give that init method. Within that you have to give the coding, the main class. Like that in thread codings are written within this run method only. So here this is the class. Thread name is multi, extends keyword, thread is the class. Within that the run method, by using this, the run method is not invoked, not initiated by other method. By using this start method, the run method automatically started its execution. Here within this main class, the object is created for that class multi. By using that object, start method is called. When the start method is called, the run method is automatically initiated and go for its execution. So the thread methods are start, run and stop. Start is used to create a new thread and makes it runnable. This method can be allowed only once. The new thread run method is the new thread begins its life inside this method. Stop is being terminated. And then yield. Yield method causes the currently executing thread object to temporarily pass and allow other thread to execute. That is the yield. And then a sleep method is the thread sleeps for a particular time amount, and you can also coming back to the run state also. These are all the thread methods. Start, run, priority, set priority, daemon, thread and join, interrupt, boolean is alive and yield, sleep,